What are you doing here, Lina? Turn around and go home right now. Adrian's voice hit her like a slap across the fog. Lina stood at the edge of the dock with flowers in her hand, still wearing the smile she brought all the way from the city. She had driven 3 hours on pure excitement, imagining the look on her billionaire husband's face when he saw her. She wanted to surprise him, to remind him that life could be simple again. One boat, one lake, one quiet afternoon where money did not matter. But the man in front of her was not the Adrian she expected. He looked like someone cornered by a truth too heavy to carry. His shoulders were stiff, his eyes wide, his mouth tight like he had been holding back words for days. There was no fishing rod in his hands, no relaxed stance, no calm smile. The lake behind him was smooth and bright, yet the air around him felt sharp, tense, wrong. 2 men in dark coats moved, fast from the cabin to a waiting car, carrying bags as if they were clearing out a crime scene. Lina's first thought was that something had happened, something bad. Her second thought was worse because it made no sense at all. Her eyes fell to a bench beside the cooler. A child's backpack, bright blue, sat there with a moon patch stitched onto it. Under the bench were tiny shoes, the kind that blinked with light when you ran. Lina's breath dropped out of her chest. That boat had never carried anyone but Adrian, not friends, not family, not staff, just him in the lake. She opened her mouth to speak, but before sound came, a small voice drifted from inside the cabin. "Daddy, are we leaving now?" The word daddy did not echo. It sank straight into Lina, heavy and final. The cabin door eased open, and a little girl stepped out. 6 years old, maybe. Mess of dark curls, pale cheeks, thin arms clinging to a stuffed rabbit with one ear missing. A bruise on her upper arm was fading, but still clear enough to tell a story. She looked at Adrian with the kind of trust that did not come from comfort, came from survival. Then she looked at Lina like she did not know which version of the world this stranger belonged to. Adrian dropped to one knee, voice soft and urgent. "Sophia, sweetheart, go back inside for a minute, please." The child nodded without protest and slipped back into the cabin, quiet as smoke. The door closed gently behind her. Silence rushed into the space between husband and wife. Lina felt her heart hammering so hard it made her hands shake. She tried to pull herself into control, because she knew that if she let emotion lead, she might break something she could never fix. Who is she? Her voice came out low, steady, almost calm. Even though her body wanted to tremble apart, Adrian stared down at the dock boards, as if they were safer than her eyes. "She's Sophia, and she needs help." Help was too small an answer. Not for a child who called him daddy. Not for a backpack on their private boat. "She called you that." Lina said it slower this time, each word cutting deeper. "She called you daddy." Adrian's face folded at the edges, not with anger, but with grief. "I know how it looks, but I need you to hear me. All of it." He pulled in a breath that sounded like a man stepping into freezing water. "She's my daughter. I didn't know until 3 months ago." The lake tilted in Lina's mind. The dock felt far away under her feet. She did not move, because if she moved, she might fall. Asterisk years earlier, when Adrian was not a billionaire and Lina was not known as his wife in glossy magazines, their love had started in a cramped coffee shop that smelled of burnt sugar and rain. He was young, broke, and steady in a quiet way that made the world feel less loud. She was bright, stubborn, full of fight and laughter. Their first years together were simple and hard and beautiful. Cheap noodles at midnight, long walks after long shifts, warm hands in cold weather, a small apartment where dreams filled more space than furniture. She loved him before the world did. She trusted him because he never wore a mask around her. When his company grew into an empire, his name became a headline, and his life became guarded by distance and schedules. He still came home to Lina, like home was the only honest place left. She had watched the pressure build on him and believed love would protect them from everything else. There had been signs she swallowed, a locked drawer he never opened around her.
Ow!
A sudden silence when old years were mentioned. Fishing trips that became more frequent, more private, almost sacred. She told herself it was stress, not secrets. She chose faith over doubt, because doubt felt like betrayal. Now, doubt sat on the bench, in the shape of a child's backpack. Adrian spoke slowly. Because he knew every second hurt? Before I met you, I was with someone for a short time. It ended before it became anything real. She never told me she was pregnant, didn't know Sophia existed. He swallowed hard, eyes shining. Not until this winter. Sophia's mother died. She left a letter with my name. She wrote that Sophia had no family left. She wrote that things were bad near the end. There was a man around them, a dangerous one. Sophia ran to a neighbor after a night she never should have lived through. The neighbor found the letter and called me. Lina's stomach tightened. The bruise on Sophia's arm burned in her memory. A child had been living inside fear, and she had no idea. Adrian's voice shook, but he kept it steady for Lina. I went to meet her. She looked at me like she'd been waiting her whole life. She asked if I was really her dad. Lina, she doesn't sleep. She wakes up shaking. She flinches. At doors, she trusts me because I'm the first safe thing she's had. I couldn't leave her there. Lina wanted to ask why he hid this, why she had to find out like this, why he went through it alone instead of bringing her in from the start. But his face wasn't hiding joy. It was carrying pain in a way that made her anger feel small next to his burden. I didn't bring her here to hide her from you, Adrian said. I brought her here because I was trying to learn her first. She's scared of everything. I wanted her away from noise, away from eyes. I was trying to find the right way to tell you without losing you. One of the men by the car looked back, waiting. His stare was careful, gentle, trained. Lina realized he wasn't a guard. He was a social worker. This wasn't a secret for pleasure. It was a rescue. The truth shifted the air. Lina's hurt stayed sharp and real, but it now shared space with something heavier. A child who had been hurt, a child who had nowhere to go. A child who was clinging to Adrian as if his presence was the only rope keeping her from falling. Lina took a slow breath, feeling the moral weight settle inside her. She looked at Adrian and saw fear there too, not the fear of being caught, but the fear of losing the two people who now mattered most to him. You were afraid I'd leave, Lina said. Adrian nodded once. I was. She felt tears rise, not because she suddenly forgave everything, but because she understood the shape of what he was carrying. He was wrong to hide it from her. But he had not chosen betrayal. He had chosen responsibility in a messy, painful way. A child's safety comes before our comfort, Lina said quietly. Adrian's eyes filled with relief and sorrow at the same time. He did not step closer. He waited, letting her choose her own place in this turning story. Lina walked into the cabin. Sophia sat on the couch, holding her rabbit-like armor. She was trying to look brave, but her knees were tucked in tight, her shoulders tense, her eyes scanning Lina's face for danger. Lina knelt to her level and spoke softly. I'm Lina. I'm not here to hurt you. Sophia stared as if she had been trained to expect traps. Are you mad at me? Lina felt her heart split and mend in the same beat. I'm not mad at you. Not even a little. You're safe here. The child's breathing slowed. Her shoulders loosened just a bit. That tiny release felt like a victory against a world that had been cruel to her. Lina looked back at Adrian, standing in the doorway, silent and respectful, letting her lead. Love doesn't get smaller when it shares space, Lina said. It gets stronger. Adrian closed his eyes, a tear sliding down his cheek. Sophia reached for Lina's hand with hesitant fingers. Lina took it, steady and warm. That night they ate together on the deck under soft lantern light. Adrian cooked fish and rice, not like a rich man showing skill, but like a father learning how to feed a child who had learned to live hungry. Sophia giggled when her rabbit pretended to eat peas. Lina watched them both, grief for the life she thought she had mixing with a deeper pride for the life she chose to build. The weeks that followed were not easy, because true love does not skip the hard parts. Lina and Adrian told the truth to each other, then to the world. They built safety for Sophia first, then for other children like her. Adrian used his power to open doors. Lina used her heart to keep them open. Slowly, Sophia began to sleep through the night. Slowly, laughter replaced flinching. Some storms come to ruin. Some storms come to reveal. Lina learned that quiet strength is not painless. It is choosing what is right while your heart still aches. Adrian learned that trust survives only in the light. Sophia learned that family is not always who you start with, but who walks toward you when you are afraid. If this story moved you, comment where you are watching from and what you would have done in Lina's place. Share your thoughts on truth, mercy, and protecting the innocent. Subscribe for more stories about silent courage and unseen battles that deserve to be honored.